Hello guys, today I start with a question. Question is structure 1 and 2. Are they stereoisomers? Yes, they are stereoisomers. Are they enantiomers? Are they diastereomers or are they identical molecules? Similarly, I have a compound A and I have a compound B, and what I want to find out is whether these two structures they are enantiomers or they are identical molecules. Well, there are going to be many such questions which are asked to you in your examination and you get puzzled up how you're going to do that. So here today we are going to give you a trick to make out between enantiomers, diastereomers and identical molecules. I am Dr. Ritu Jauhar, your educator from the channel H2O, the A to Z of chemistry. And I hope you are going to enjoy your learning with me today. You are going to gain full 4 marks for this question. So let us begin the learning. So how do we make out between enantiomers, diastereomers and identical molecules? To do that, first of all, you should be knowing what are they exactly. So enantiomers, they are stereoisomers whose molecules, they are non-superimposable mirror images of each other. Diastereomers, they are also going to be stereoisomers whose molecules, they are not mirror images of each other, and identical molecules where they are going to be identical. So they are going to be molecules that are superimposable mirror images of each other. So what this means is when you're going to compare enantiomers and identical molecules, well, both of them you will be finding that the molecules they are going to be the mirror images of each other, but enantiomers will be non-superimposable ones, whereas identical molecules you can superimpose the mirror images on each other. Okay, and the next is enantiomers and diastereomers. So that is going to be easy. The enantiomers, well, they are going to be mirror images, whereas diastereomers, they are not even the mirror images of each other. So now look at these three structures. And in these three structures, what is the name of the compound? Well, they all have the same name. That is going to be butane 2-ol. Carbon number 1, carbon number 2, carbon number 3 and 4, and at position number 2 we have a OH group. So this is butane 2-ol, this is butane 2-ol, this is butane 2-ol. Now what we want to find out is whether they are enantiomers, they are diastereomers or they are identical molecules. So the first tip for you people is that whenever you are having one chirality center, the molecules they will never be related to each other as diastereomers. They will be always diastereomers only when there are at least two chirality centers present in the molecule. So with one chirality center, the work is going to be less. You have to differentiate between enantiomers and identical molecules. You can try rotating the molecules, trying to figure out whether they are going to be the mirror images, whether they will be those mirror images which are superimposable or not. But I'm going to just tell you the quick trick, which is going to be a foolproof trick, which will never make you tell the answer that is wrong. Okay, so let us learn that. So these are the three structures and I'm going to tell you the trick to make out between enantiomers and identical molecules in this case, because they are only one chirality center in the molecule. So here what you're going to do is, well, you will be writing their RS configuration. Okay, so first of all, let us do that. I hope you all know how you're going to write down the RS configuration. If you do not know that, well, you can watch my detailed lectures on optical isomerism, where we have put out 8 lectures on optical isomerism to help you understand the whole concept. Okay, so there you will be able to learn the RS configuration also. So when I'm going to number these groups according to the priority order of atomic number, what I find is that OH group is going to be group number 1, C2H5 is going to be group number 2, CH3 is going to be group number 3, and hydrogen is going to be group number 4. Group number 4, this should always be on the backward away from us from the plane. All right, and here what you can see is that these two 6, they are on the carbon, so these are projecting towards us, and ones which are behind, they are projecting backwards. So group number 4 is already projecting backwards. Okay, in a wedge and dash representation, it should be on the dash or the hashed wedge, and in case of the Fisher projection, it should be on the vertical line if we are talking about that. Okay, so this, remember this. So fourth group, well, here what you can see is this is projecting backwards. So what you have to do is you have to make an arrow from group number 1 to group number 2, crossing over group number 4 if that is coming in between. Never cross over group number 3. Okay, so now what is this direction? Well, this is in the clockwise direction. So this has a R configuration. Okay, and in the next one what you can see is this is my group number 1, this is my group number 2, group number 3, and group number 4. So now again what I'm going to do is an arrow from 1 to 2 crossing over 4. Well, this is going to be in the anti-clockwise direction, so this is the S configuration. Okay, and for the third one, well, I'm going to do it 1 and 2. Now the hydrogen is not coming in between, so I am going to just put my arrow. So this is in the anti-clockwise direction. Now once you have determined their configurations, what you have to remember is that if one of the compounds has R configuration and the other has the S configuration, they are going to be enantiomers. So very easy for us to tell that structure number 1 and structure number 2, one has the R configuration and the other has the S configuration. So these two, they are going to be enantiomers. And actually when you are going to look at them also, you find that these two, they are the mirror images of each other. All right, now let us look at this next one. So there what you have to remember is that if one of the compounds has R and the other also has an R, or that means is that both have either the R configuration or both of them they have the S configuration, well, they are going to be identical molecules. So structure number 2 and structure number 3, well, both of them they have the S configuration. So this means that these two, they are going to be identical molecules. So I think this is going to be very easy for you people if you just know simply how to write the RS configuration for the various structures. Okay. So the question is, out of the following pair of structures, tell whether they represent enantiomers or two molecules of the same compound in different orientation. And I have structure A and structure B. So the thing that we are going to do is write down their RS configuration, which is going to make this answer very easy for us. So here when we are going to do the priority of the 4 groups, it is going to be bromine, chlorine, a CH3 and a hydrogen, right? And when you are going to see that fourth group, this is represented by the solid wedge in the wedge and dash representation, what you will be doing is you are going to make a switch. You are going to make a switch between hydrogen and bromine because bromine is represented by the dash or the hashed wedge. When you're going to do that, well, the structure that you will be getting is going to be this one. And for the B structure, this is going to be this one, because here again, you are seeing that hydrogen, this is in the plane of paper. What we want is instead of bromine. So we will be making a switch over here as well. So the fourth priority group, this should always be represented by the hashed wedge in a wedge and dash representation. And in a Fisher projection also, how you're going to write the RS configuration, I have explained it in my detailed lectures, so you can follow those. Okay, so here what we will be doing is, once we have made the switch, we will be writing down the RS configuration. So bromine is my priority group number 1 and chlorine is my priority group number 2 and hydrogen was 4. I'm going to make an arrow from 1 to 2 crossing over 4. Never make the cross over 3. Okay, so this is in the anti-clockwise direction, but remember that you have made a switch of the 2 groups. When you make a switch of the two groups, you convert one enantiomer into the other. Why is this happening? Again, I have explained it in the detailed lectures. Okay, so here when I make a switch, what you have to remember is that this configuration is the S configuration from the arrow, while the original molecule, this will be having the R configuration. Okay, similarly, when I'm going to make my arrow from bromine to chlorine over here, well, this is in the anti-clockwise direction. So anti-clockwise direction, again, this means that this has the S configuration. So my original molecule will be having the R configuration. Now both of these, they have the R configuration. When the configuration for both the molecules, this is going to be the same, well, they are going to be what? They will be identical molecules. If one is going to have a R, the other is going to have a S, it is only then they will be enantiomers. So I hope now this is very easy. And next we will be moving on to two chirality centers. So let us look at an example where we have a chiral molecule with two stereogenic centers. In this molecule, what you can see is this is 2,3-dihydroxybutanoic acid. Carbon number 2 and carbon number 3, they are going to be the chirality centers because they are attached to 4 different groups. Carbon number 2, this is attached to a hydrogen, a OH group, a COOH group, and the whole of this group. And C3, this will be attached to a CH3, a hydrogen, a OH, and the whole of this group. So 4 different groups for 2 of the carbons, C2 and C3. There are 2 chirality centers. And when we have 2 chirality centers, and when the 2 chirality centers, they are dissimilar in nature, the maximum number of stereoisomers that will be formed is going to be 2 to the power n. This is again, I have explained it in my detailed lectures. Also, I am going to put up a trick to count the number of stereoisomers which are going to be possible for a compound. Okay, so you can watch that trick if you just want that trick itself, or you can watch my detailed lectures to have a thorough understanding of the concept. So here we will be having 4 isomers for this compound. This is going to be structure number 1, structure number 2, 3 and 4. And the RS configuration for these structures I have already written because that is going to be the trick that we are going to use to identify whether these compounds, they are going to be enantiomers, diastereomers or identical molecules. So here, because we have 2 chirality centers, yes, diastereomers also are going to be there. Okay. So enantiomers, what you have to remember is that they will be having opposite configuration at both asymmetric carbons. The diastereomers, they will be having same configuration at one of the asymmetric carbons and the opposite configuration at the other. And the identical molecules, they will be having same configuration at both asymmetric carbons. Okay. So now from these 4 structures, looking at the configurations one by one, we will identify which are enantiomers, diastereomers and identical molecules. So these are the 4 structures: structure number 1, structure number 2, structure number 3 and structure number 4. First of all, when we compare structure number 1 with structure number 2, what we find is at chirality center C2, there is a R configuration and here this is an S configuration. Here at C3, we have a R configuration and this is a S configuration. So at both the chirality centers, the configuration, this is different. And when that is different, we call this to be enantiomers. Easy enough. If you just know how to write down quickly the RS configuration, well, a thing is going to be difficult for you people. Now, the next one, what you can see is 1 and 3. In 1 and 3, this is a 2R and a 2R. So this is same. A 3R and a 3S. This is different. So when one of the configurations is same and the other is different, we call these to be as diastereomers. Similarly, when you're going to look at structure number 1 and 4, this is a 2R and a 2S different, a 3R and a 3R which is the same. This means that they are also going to form a pair of diastereomers. What is the relationship between 3 and 4? Well, this is a 2R, this is a 2S. Opposite, 3R, 3S and a 3R. This means this is also opposite. So these, they will be forming a pair of enantiomers. What is the relationship between 2 and 3? Well, again, a 2S, a 3S, a 2R and a 3S. One is same, one is different, diastereomers, and between 2 and 4 also they will be forming a pair of diastereomers. So what do we have? Stereoisomers 1 and 2, they are going to be enantiomers of each other. The enantiomer of RR is SS. And the stereoisomers 3 and 4, they are the enantiomers of each other. RS, the opposite is going to be an SR. Fine. And in this, all of the compounds, they are having different configurations. None of them, they will be having exactly the same configuration at the two chirality centers. So this means that there is no identical molecule present over here. So next again is a question for you people. We are having chiral molecules with two stereogenic centers, and we want to determine whether the structures that are given to us, they are enantiomers, diastereomers or identical molecules, and the structures given are structure 1, structure 2, structure 3 and structure 4. Okay, and this compound, let me tell you, this is a very important compound. What is the name of this compound? Well, this is carbon number 1, carbon number 2, carbon number 3, carbon number 4. So this is a 4 carbon carboxylic acid, a dicarboxylic acid. So this is going to be butane 1,4 dicarboxylic acid, a OH and OH at position number 2 and 3. The name of the compound, this becomes 2,3 dihydroxy butane 1,4 dioic acid. And the common name of the compound, this is tartaric acid, a compound which is very important in optical isomerism. So here for tartaric acid, you have the 4 stereoisomers that are given to you. Well, are they all 4 stereoisomers? Whether there are some identical molecules present in them, whether they are enantiomers, whether they are diastereomers, is all that you have to think and answer. First try it out yourself and then we will do that together. So now if you've done that, let us do it together. So this is structure number 1, structure number 2, structure number 3 and structure number 4. And we have to write down which are the enantiomers, which are the diastereomers and which are the identical molecules. So the trick that we have learned is the naming of these according to the RS system. So now we will do that together, because here writing the names also I am going to give you one more trick. And the trick is going to be, once we have written the name of one of these 4 compounds. Okay, so let us do that for structure number 1. Here we have carbon number 1, here we have carbon number 2, this is carbon number 3 and this is carbon number 4. Okay, so C2 and C3, they are going to act as chirality centers because they are attached to 4 different groups. So for C2, when we are going to write whether it is a R configuration or the S configuration, OH is going to be group number 1, COH will be group number 2, the chirality center C3 will be group number 3 and hydrogen will be group number 4. The arrow is in the clockwise direction. Hydrogen, group number 4, is present on the horizontal position. So this means you will be writing the reverse. So this means that this is going to be a S configuration for chirality center C2. Okay, and for C3, if I just rub out first of all these numbers. And for C3, what you can see is, well, that is going to be carbon number 1, carbon number 2, this will be carbon number 3 and this will be 4. Hydrogen will be 4. So the arrow is going to be in the anti-clockwise direction. Hydrogen is present on the horizontal bond. So you will be writing the opposite. So this becomes 3R. Now the trick is that once you have written the names for both the chirality centers according to the RS configuration for one of the compounds, you can quickly do for the rest of the stereoisomers. Okay, so here what you are going to do is that if you look at this this is similar, this is similar, this is similar. The two structures, they are different only in the position of the H and the OH groups. So here we have a OH on the right side, a hydrogen on left. Here we have a hydrogen and a OH opposite. This means that if I change the position of two groups, I can form the configuration which is going to be similar to this configuration. All right. So if this is a 2s, this means that this configuration for Sui2 is going to be a 2R. So I can just write quickly as 2R. The H and a OH and a H, so right opposite to that, it is going to be a 3s. Similarly, if you look at comparing 1 and 3 now, a H and a OH opposite, so this means this is a 2R. OH and a H, this is similar to the top one, so this is going to be a 3R. If you just look and compare 2 and 4 now, a OH and a H, so this is opposite, so this will be a 2s. A H and a OH, this is similar to the top one, so this is 3s. So this way you can quickly write the configurations of all the four structures if you have written the structure for one of them. So that is not going to take a lot of time. You can do that quickly. Okay. Now once you have done that, well, what are we going to do? Well, we are going to compare now the configurations at the two chirality centers and tell which of these are going to be enantiomers or diastereomers. Structure number 1 and 2, if you compare, they have the opposite configurations at the two chirality centers, right? So this one, well, okay, do it with the green. So this is a 2s, this is a 2r, this is a 3r, this is a 3s. So this seems to us to be a pair of enantiomers. Okay, so these two, for now, just consider them to be a pair of enantiomers. I'll just now come back to this. What are they actually? The next one, if you look at 3 and 4, this is a 2R, so this is a 2S, this is a 3R, this is a 3S. Both the chirality centers, they are having the opposite configuration. So this means that this is going to be a pair of enantiomers. Okay, then we look at structure number 1 and 3. What do we find is that they are a pair of diastereomers. One is a 2s, a 2r opposite, a 3r, 3r same. One same, one different is a diastereomer. Similarly, 2 and 4 is going to be diastereomers. 1 and 4 is going to be diastereomers, and 2 and 3 are also going to be diastereomers. One of the configurations at the chirality center is same, the other is different. Now I come back to structure number 1 and 2. In structure number 1 and 2, what you can see is that if I start the numbering from this end, okay, what is going to be the name of this compound? It is going to be 2,3-dihydroxy butane 1,4-dioic acid. If I start the numbering from this side, well, what is the name of this compound? Again, the name of the compound is 2,3-dihydroxy butane 1,4-dioic acid. So this means I can name the compound from this side, I can name the compound from this side. The name of the compound, this remains the same. So if now I have done the RS configuration from this end, I get a 2s, a 3r. If I do the RS configuration from this end, what will be the name of this compound? Well, here this was the R configuration, so now I can write it as a 2R, and this is going to be my C3 now, so that would be a S configuration, so this is a 3S. So it is a 2R and a 3S, and this one is also a 2R and a 3S. And when the two structures, they are having the similar configuration at both of the chirality centers, what do we call those structures? Well, we call them to be identical. Okay, so this is what you have to see over here. So what you can remember this is that this is a structure for tartaric acid, and it has 3 stereoisomers. One is going to be a meso compound, because in these two structures what you can see is that you can draw a plane of symmetry. It is very easy to identify in a Fisher projection. The two halves, one above and one below the plane of symmetry, they are identical mirror image halves. Similarly, you can draw that plane of symmetry in this one also, but these two, they are identical structures, and we call such structures which have a plane of symmetry although they are having chirality centers to be a meso compound. So this is a meso compound. So one of the compounds is a meso compound. Two, they are enantiomers, right? How they are related to each other. If they are not enantiomers, they will be diastereomers because they will be non-mirror images of each other. All right, and these two structures, they form identical structures, they are similar. So whenever we are going to have two chirality centers which are similar in the groups that are attached to them, well, what you will be finding is that you will be able to draw a plane of symmetry in one of the stereoisomers, and the mirror image of that compound which you are seeing over here, this compound and this compound, they are the mirror images of each other. But because they had the two asymmetric carbons having the same set of substituents, you were able to draw a plane of symmetry. These two compounds, they are not optically active. These two compounds, they are going to be superimposable on each other. These two compounds, they are identical. Okay, so I hope you will remember all of this. So I hope you have enjoyed this lecture and you will be waiting for some more tricks, lectures and courses from us. See you again. Have a nice day. Enjoy your learning.